Hi, I'm 10. It all starts in the life of Suichi, our protagonist, who is a normal high school student. Sorry, he was a normal high school student because literally out of nowhere he acquired a power. He was walking through the forest Retranqui until he finds a workshop on fire with a girl inside, so he uses his power and transforms into a giant dog. Stuffed dog. I know it looks like a crappy power, but it's really cool, believe me. The power, huh? Just like a girl too, but the power. He enters the place, breaks through a wall, saves the girl, tries to touch her because his instincts are altered, but he comes to his senses and leaves. But the next day, at school, the girl he saved, Claire, appears and tells him that she knows he is a monster because he dropped his cell phone in the place where he saved her, and she checked it to find out his identity. After class, they meet on the rooftop. Our protagonist plays dumb and tells her, "Hey, thank you very much for taking my cell phone, but what were you referring to this morning? With a monster or something? I mean, did you see one? Ah, you're playing dumb." Sorry, then I must have made a mistake. Here's your cell phone. Our porter reaches in to grab it and bam! You fucked up! Claire pushes him off the roof to force him to become a monster. She takes pictures of him to extort him, uses her feminine skills to manipulate him, and they leave for Claire's house. On the way, she asks him if he knows this coin, because apparently it's somehow related to monsters. Because yes, it's not just our protagonist who has powers. At Claire's house, she gets naked in front of our prota. Why, there's no why. Fuck. But then a girl monster shows up. She attacks our prota and asks Claire for the coin, but she throws pepper spray at her and they escape. But this girl not only wants the coin, she also wants to kill them, because they saw her face. On the other hand, Claire convinces our prota to kill this girl, because she knows their faces and where they live. She also realizes that our prota has a zipper on his back. Claire says that the power of each monster has a meaning, so they open it because they are able to find that meaning inside. They do, but there's nothing, it's empty. They come to the conclusion that it's for someone to get inside and they become one. So he gets inside and they effectively become one because each can feel the other's heart. Our protagonist realizes that Claire has a huge hatred and sadness inside her because something happened to her, but we're going to have to leave that for later because the girl from before shows up and they start fighting. This girl starts slapping the shit out of them. But Claire gets used to handle the body of our protagonist and makes her shit, but very shitty. She grabs her by the head, lifts her up, pulls out the gun our prota has and kills her. That's how Gravenir begins in a nutshell. Then, our prota goes into despair because a person was killed, but Claire calms him down and says, "That's why I promise you only one thing, no matter what the motive is. If anything happens to you, I will also die with you. So now you want to die?" She climbs over a railing and throws herself off, but obviously our prota obviously saves her. There he tells them that they are inevitably already involved in this. There is no turning back because more monsters can keep attacking them. Claire tells us that her sister also has powers. She killed her parents and escaped. That's why Claire is looking for our prota, to help her to take revenge on her. So our prota sniffs some clothes of Claire's sister to look for her. Because I don't know if I told you, but our prota, besides transforming, acquired super strength and smell. He does it and smells the smell of blood. That Claire's sister killed lots and lots of people, so they go looking for her. They find her and start talking. Claire's sister, that is her name is Irina, and she tells him that she was the one who gave him his power. Besides, she knows our prota. You can tell that she's very fond of him, as if she was a very important person in his life. But our prota never saw her in his life, or at least those are his memories. Claire speaks without meaning to. Claire. And when Irina realizes that there is a girl inside our prota, she gets mad because someone is taking her place and rips her head off. Realizing that the girl inside is Claire, she doesn't do anything to him, gives him another coin, tells him to go to the abandoned hotel and leaves. As our prota died, Claire goes to commit suicide to keep her promise. And so ends Sleipnir. Ah, lie, it was a little fuck up. Can you imagine it ending like that? It's ugly, asshole, I'm dying. Because our prota is alive, he tells Claire not to kill herself, and they go to the abandoned hotel he told Irina. When they get there, they meet this guy, an alien. Yep, now I tell you the story, but first Claire gives her the coin in exchange for putting our protagonist's head back in place. While waiting for the parts to be joined, this alien tells us that in her civilization they no longer use bodies, but stored their minds in data, which are in these coins. But their ship crashed on Earth, and they spread everywhere. So the collectors, who are the people with powers that seek the coins, are given a power in exchange for a coin. Oh, and the power you have is the one you really want to have? It has a meaning. It also tells us that if someone manages to collect 100 coins, it will give him whatever he wants. To be a giant, to have powers like in an anime. Anything. Afterwards, the alien this one eats a hair of Claire's and transforms into her to show her his powers. Our prota returns to normal, with his head in place, but he was left with a scar on his neck. Claire hugs our prota crying because she was really worried, and the next day, our prota becomes a tall rebel because at school, a guy hits him, gets angry and wants to hit him, but our prota grabs him by the arm and wraps him up. He also stopped wearing glasses because his power improved his eyesight. The girls at the salon say he became refachero, and all this is because our prota decided to collect the 100 coins with Claire, because if someone bad does it, he can destroy the world. So the next day he goes with Claire to the mountains because that's where the alien's ship fell. So that's where there must be more coins, but also more enemies. And sure enough, they find this monster. They slap the shit out of each other for a while. But is too strong, so our protagonist grabs him by the waist to keep him from moving. Claire, who had come out of the suit, points the gun at him from behind, thus beating him. Although they don't kill him, they actually become friends because this guy respects them for fighting so well, so they form an alliance. But another monster shows up, and on top of that, he took a picture of their faces, so even if they escape, they will find him anyway. To prove his loyalty, this guy Tadanori cuts him in half. Claire steals his cell phone and discovers an organization. She blackmails one of its members to join them. Here we are introduced to several characters. The Fura Good People, Chihiro, who has the power to understand animals, the telescope head, this thing that I don't know what the fuck it is. A guy covered with a sheet, this guy in a suit, and this whore, Sayaka, who is the leader of the organization. She tells them that if they want to join, they have to show their faces and make a pact with her. Claire convinces her to do it just her, so she takes her to a secluded room. The slutty motherfucking Dia! The motherfucker! He gropes Claire and puts a necklace of her hair around her neck because she has the power to make anyone keep secrets. Because if anyone who made the pact with her tells her a secret or somehow betrays her, the necklace instantly kills her. Meanwhile, the Fura Good People and our prota become friends. She asks our prota if he can help her look for her wallet, because she has her ID card, and if someone bad guy grabs it, she's screwed. But Chihiro is super slow, so she asks him if she can get inside our protagonist. He resists a little, but in the end he gives in. Because you know what I mean? Yeah, I think so. He undresses, gets inside, and our prota says, "Stop, did you get in naked? No, it's really wrong, you're stupid, you can't do that, I want you to do it, but you can't, you know what I mean, right?" Yeah. Our protagonist pretends to be offended, but then this happens. "So why are you happy?" "I'm not happy." "You're happy. You're becoming, aren't you? You're feeling..." "No." On the other hand, Irira is with her companions in the same forest, and one of her companions found the Fura's wallet. Our prota and Chihiro meet this same guy, but he makes them shit. He shreds them to bits, throws them away, and when he's about to leave, they're all shit. They get up and merge the two of them. They literally became one. It's not like when Claire gets in. They each think separately. Now they are a totally different person, a combination of both, creating a new, much stronger version. They slap him to death and are about to kill him, but Irina appears and stops them. At that moment, Chihiro enters the memories of our prota, and we are shown images of Irina and Tsuichi together, as if they already knew each other before and were surely boyfriend and girlfriend. But for some reason, our prota doesn't remember her, so they faint, and Irina leaves. Later, they run into each other, but neither of them remembers anything about what happened. Wink, wink. Our prota also makes the pact as they entered into trust. He reveals the face of the thing we didn't know what the fuck it was that turned out to be good people and has the power to control nature. Isoi. The guy who was covered with a sheet turned out to be a girl with the power of invisibility, Miku. And the guy in the suit is called Yota. It is not yet known what power he has, but it is known that he is the only fighter in the team, so he has to be strong. Afterwards, Chihiro calls Irina since she got her number by seeing our prota's memories. Because yes, she remembers everything. He called her to ask her if she knew what the transformation they had was. Irina tells us that it is an ability that only our prota has. She also tells us that when our prota and the person inside him have the same goal, they align and become one, combining both powers. It is an extremely powerful ability. Also, this girl seeing our prota's memories knows that Irina is actually good, but they cut off the conversation there, so we have to wait. They continue deeper into the forest and encounter a group of enemies. Jota defeats one and they escape. But they catch up with them and they are much stronger than they are. So she tells them they can join them, but they have to choose one to die, to make up for the one Jota killed. They leave him room to think about it, and Claire comes up with a strategy. She has Isao grow a special kind of flowers, which when burned, their smoke is poisonous. So they cause a fire and manage to escape all but the telescope-headed guy. Because he betrayed them and went to the rivals to tell them the truth, although he didn't get there because he's dying because of the pact he made with Sayaka. Days go by, and a guy started to follow our protagonist. He is one of those who survived the poisonous flowers. He came to take revenge, but our prota decided to put an end to this game, and he doesn't care who crosses his path, so he kills him. A few months ago, a girl named Honoka was the first to find a coin. This gave him the idea of granting people's wishes in exchange for their help in finding the coins. I'll explain why, don't worry. She offered to help him and his friends, and showed him this picture, where we see our protagonist and Irina as boyfriend and girlfriend, Claire and her boyfriend, Naoto and Kaito. The alien tells him that he thinks it's a good idea, and that he's going to start by fulfilling his wish. People, now pay close attention because it's complicated, okay? Pay attention to what I just said and everything I'm going to say now, okay? A few days later, Naoto tells Kaito that Claire is a little weird. It's like I'm a different person, but I'm sure it's just me, he says. A few days later, they all get together except Honoka. There they tell Kaito that Honoka had a problem with her family, and one day she just disappeared. Kaito wants to go look for her to see what happened, but Claire tells him this. Why? The others apparently agree, but Kaito doesn't, because he was in love with Honoka. He's not going to leave things like that. So he looks for her at her house, at relatives' houses, and nobody knows anything about her. But he remembers that when he talked to Claire, she twirled her hair, and that was always done by Honoka. That's when he realizes that something very strange is going on. One day he follows Claire because she is acting weird, something knows. He loses her but runs into the alien. Kaito gathers everyone but Claire, and they tell them that the Claire they know now is not her. It is Honoka transformed into Claire. He knows this because the alien told him. He was the one who turned her because Harako's wish was to eliminate herself and become Claire. Kaito, upon learning this, tells the others that Honoka has to pay if she committed any crime. But everyone tells them that it doesn't matter, that it's better to leave it at that. He's not causing any trouble. Everything will stay the same. Yeah, those motherfuckers, how the fuck do they not care that Honoka killed Claire? Let's remember that Naoto was the boyfriend and Irina was the sister. But Kaito, even if she's in love with Honoka, she's not going to leave things like that. He goes to find Claire, who is actually Honoka, and kills her. Afterwards, Kaito is talking to Naoto, and Naoto tells him that they found Claire's farewell letter. She left it written to Honoka, her best friend. This reveals that Honoka did not kill Claire, but that the real Claire committed suicide. Then Kaito says to her, "No, Boludo, what the fuck? So why did Honoka transform into Claire? She did it because Claire was an amazing person. Everyone wanted her. She always defended people. She was a really good person. But at school, they started to bully her. She put up with it as long as she could, until she decided to commit suicide. Honoka finds her hanging. She is the only one who found out that she died. So she goes to the alien and asks him to become Claire to impersonate her. Why? Because if Claire dies, she knows that everyone will be sad because they wanted her. On the other hand, if she dies, no one would care. So she eliminated herself to become Claire, imitating her personality, trying to act like Claire would, but killing herself. And worst of all, Naoto, Erena, and our prota knew it. I mean, they knew that the real Claire committed suicide and that Honoka is imitating her. But they didn't say anything because they didn't want to accept that Claire died. They want to pretend that she's still alive, even though it's really Honoka imitating her. That's why they all agreed before to leave things like that. I mean, it's very complicated, people. I explained it the best I could, but it's very murky. Because they basically sucked the life out of Honoka. Back to the present, Chihiro called Irina back to give her the 5 coins she gathered with her group, because they're going to let her put an end to this game. They also show us that our Prota's parents are dead. Erina eliminated them, but our Prota doesn't realize it. It's like he has his memories eliminated. I mean, he literally goes about his normal life. The house is a mess, and he doesn't realize that his parents are dead. I mean, oh man, it's really messy, painful. I don't know, many things at the same time. They also show us that Kaito has an ultra-powerful power. He controls Honoka's ghost, and he is covering the alien's ship. Anyone who gets close kills him. They didn't confirm it, but we are given to understand that Kaito already got the 100 coins, and he did all this to avenge Honoka. At that moment, our Prota arrives. Because he is starting to remember, Erina tells him not to try to remember, that it's for everyone's sake. Just then, Claire also arrives and shows them this teddy bear that she found in the old school where they were all. When our Prota sees that, he starts to remember everything. Claire gets inside our Prota and they fight against Erina. I don't know what the fuck Erina does to him, but I erase his memories again, because during the fight, Honoka's ghost appeared, which apparently, if our protagonist recovers his memories, so will Kaito, who lets remember that he wants to kill everyone and that he controls this ghost. But Erina tells them to stay calm, that she is going to finish the game. Obviously they don't stay calm because days later, they meet up with the guy they met at the beginning, go back to the forest to find the ship and finish the game by themselves, giving rise to a second season. Because that's how Gleipnir ends, summarized.